Time now for the markets with Leighton. And Leighton, you say fuel prices continue to rise.
That's right. Latest statistics, diesel prices up for the third straight week. No doubt fuel will be a higher input cost for spring planting this year. Also this week, a nice rebound is forecast for chicken consumption in the U.S. Some big U.S. soybean sales to China are announced, while a noted cotton acreage forecast is higher than some had expected. The government this week released a very optimistic projection for Mississippi's #1 ag commodity. The USDA says per capita consumption of chicken across the nation will rebound for the rest of this decade once we get past the slump in production this year. According to this report, U.S. per capita consumption of chicken will be close to 106 pounds by the year 2021. That's only about 1 pound less than projected red meat consumption. As for the other white meat, pork, at least one analyst thinks 2012 looks good for the hog sector. Joe Kearns says U.S. hogs are competitive on the world market, especially in Asia. That, he says, generates good revenue for pork producers. Kearns told Brownfield Ag News the U.S. planting season will determine whether or not there's enough corn to keep input prices moderate for livestock farmers. McDonald's put hogs in the headlines back on Monday the 13th. The fast food giant announced it will work with U.S. pork suppliers to phase out the use of gestation crates. The food chain said the metal crates that are often used to confine mother sows while they raise piglets are, quote, not a sustainable production system for the future. McDonald's says it will be working with its suppliers of ham, sausage, and bacon to put a timeline on the phase-out of gestation crates nationwide. Well, to transition us into the row crop section of the markets, here's a trivia quiz to think about. How many farms grow rice in Mississippi? Is the answer 173, 288, 341, or 506? You'll find out in a few more minutes. Some positive developments for the soybean sector this week. Early on, futures ended at their highest point in nearly 4 months. And for 3 days in a row, there was a big sale of U.S. beans. China, for example, picked up 116,000 tons of old crop on Wednesday. Also this week, a group of 35 Chinese soybean buyers met with U.S. bean industry officials out in Iowa. 18 contracts were signed declaring intentions to buy U.S. soybeans in the coming marketing year. We turn now to cotton. A Thursday morning report showed U.S. weekly export sales at a 4-week high. We are about a week out now from a hard break, though, in the cotton market that happened February 9th. Some analysts think that farther out, market opportunities could improve if dry conditions in Texas and Georgia persist. Extension Ag economist John Michael Riley joined me in studio Thursday morning to discuss more about cotton. John Michael, how would you characterize those recent supply-demand figures for cotton?
Well, if you look at what the market did, you can notice it's a bit of a bearish report. They bumped up U.S. ending stocks by 100,000 bales, now currently at 3.8 million for U.S. cotton carryover. World supplies were bumped up almost 2.5 million bales, largely due to some reductions in consumption across the globe. So both of those collectively put some pressure on cotton prices that day. Since then, they've steadied out and maybe even moved slightly higher as some exchange rate, favorable moves in the exchange rate, along with favorable news coming through from the global and the domestic economy. So, but the report, I think, could be characterized as a bit bearish.
All right, also in the last 7 to 10 days, we've had kind of an annual set of numbers that people look for, the National Cotton Council's cotton acreage estimate of what may be happening this spring. How did that come out?
Well, the Cotton Council is looking for acreage to be mostly on par with where we were at last year. Only about a 0.5% reduction in total acres planted to cotton. 13.63 million acres projected to be planted from Cotton Council. That's almost 98% of those acres are going to be going to upland. So Cotton Council is not looking for a real big reduction in acres. If you go back to USDA baseline numbers, which were put out toward the end of 2011, they are looking for 12 million acres of cotton this year, so a little bit higher than that baseline number from USDA.
All right, and this is Thursday morning. I know every Thursday we kind of get a weekly export sales report, but how have those been running the last few weeks?
Well, the exports for all of our ag commodities, cotton included, were the silver lining in 2010 and 2011. The dollar has strengthened over the past 6 months of the year, so our exports for for cotton included, have come off a little bit. They've probably not been as resilient as they were in 2010 and early 2011. But for the most part, we are still shipping quite a bit of cotton overseas.
And final question, if dry conditions persist in certain areas of the belt like Texas and Georgia, how could that impact the market? Huge
impacts. Even though the Cotton Council is calling for steady acreage, that's definitely going to be something that those situations haven't changed.
Moving over to the wheat market, export demand is said to remain pretty slow there due to very large available world supply. However, some see indications of a possible shakeup soon. Some traders are even wondering if there's a danger of Russia, Ukraine, and Kazakhstan coming together and suspending wheat exports. Analyst Aaron Newsom says he thinks that is a possibility.
You know, there's been a lot of talk recently about export duties, and certainly that seems to be gaining momentum. We haven't really seen the market explode like it's a done deal, but certainly it has the market's attention. We've seen the carry in the March future spreads, the Chicago future spreads weaken, and that's indicating commercial traders are getting more concerned, and that's a good sign that something may be coming.
Well, what was your answer to our question, how many farms grow rice in Mississippi? Well, if you said C, you are correct. There are 341.